Okay, I'm pretty sure you have heard so far, and I got a moral to the story, so I want you to hang with me. But I'm pretty sure you've heard it so far in the Diddy case. Count one, Rico racketeering, not guilty. Count two, sex trafficking, not guilty. Count three, transportation of prostitution, guilty. Count four, sex trafficking, not guilty. Count five, transportation of prostitution is guilty. So I want you guys, and I think this is something really good to share. I was looking at Roland Martin, and just in case you guys don't know who Roland Martin is, Roland Martin Unfiltered, he is a guy that does, of course, news. He does breaking news commentary. He does everything, right? So, but I was just happening to look, and I was looking at some information, and I saw somebody ask a question, and so I'm giving attribution, but I'm also sharing this with you guys. Someone asked a question, like they said it don't make sense. Why would they charge with not sex trafficking, but they would charge transportation of prostitution? The reason being, let me break this down to you. The reason being, and this is so good. That's why I think conversation is so great from everybody, because we gain insight from everybody, right? So number one, sex trafficking is considered the highest, and it's considered a coercion. So you either have to be coercing someone or you have to be forcing someone. Prostitution with transportation, that just means that everybody is in on it, but it's transportation. You understand what I'm saying? But you're being charged with the prostitution and transportation. So that's what make those two different. Now, the reason why I wanted to tell you that I have a moral to it is because number one, I made a video on my channel. You can go and look at it about this case a while back when it came out. But I chose not to be a part of the gossip. I chose not to be a part of the bashing crew. And I did all of that for a reason, right? Because we need to understand that when it comes to R. Kelly, P. Diddy, and all these people, whether you agree or you don't agree, some of the things we should be able to agree on. And one of those things is that this stuff has been embedded in our culture for a very, very long time. Even as young women, we grew up with it around our neighborhoods. Now, somebody would say, oh, no, no, no. Oh, yes, yes, yes. And let me point it out on how. So let me give you an example. When people were back in the day doing their little orgies with their little threesomes and their friends and all kind of stuff was going on, that sex is no different from that partying sex. And people say, what the heck you mean? No, I'm giving you a breakdown. That sex, look, is sex. Can we agree? Sex excess is sex. Intercourse is intercourse. Can we agree? So if you're having four people over to your house and y'all privately doing what you're doing, you're still having orgies. If they're having a party, they're still having orgies. The only difference is yours is not in the news, it's not in the media, and it's not being broadcast. And you consider it consensual between you all. Do you understand? And those parties, of course, a lot of those people were considering that consensual amongst each other. It got out of hand when women started reporting what they call abuse, being abused, being forced, being all kinds of things. So do you understand the difference? So let's just agree that sex is sex. So whether you're doing it on a small scale, let's just say you married. Your wife don't know you out doing what you doing, and you over there at the hotel with two or three girls, and you holding up, you still doing the same exact thing. Whether you're doing it on a small level or you doing it on a huge level. So do you understand that? So the reason why I wanted to wait because something told me wait. Something told me don't get involved. Wait, hold it and just wait. And that's exactly what I did. I wanted to wait till the charges were actually, they came up with the actual charges, because a lot of times everybody jump in and everybody is saying something. This person saying that person saying this person saying that, this person saying that person saying that. And the truth is that we are good at jumping on bandwagons. And I'm not saying whether you agree if that person was still guilty or not guilty. That's not what I'm arguing. What I'm arguing is that it is so much conversation out there that people jump on bandwagons, and if we are not careful, we get ourselves ensnared in stuff. That's what I'm saying. It was just like with the Iraq and the Israel thing. I was telling even my TCLN base. I was telling you guys, hey, 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 You don't even, we halfway know what's going on in this country. How you gonna know what's going on over there in their countries for real, for real? Oh, history, honey, listen, you barely know this history. You don't even know that history for real, real. So don't jump into wars where you not for sure, just kind of be still on things, right? So I had to apply my own advice. Now, there was a person out there on social media. Oh, they was out there. Everybody knows who this person is. This particular person, for some reason, and I'm from Dallas, but they wanted to attack me and call me a false prophet. Well, number one, I don't never get up on my social medias hollering that I'm a prophet. So number one, I don't know where people got that from. I think the only time I ever mentioned saying myself as a prophet is when I was telling the truth about churches abusing people and people were saying, touching not my anointed. I said, well, I am anointed right now to tell you the truth. So if you want somebody to prophesy, I'm anointed to prophesy to tell you the truth right now. But just going around calling myself a prophet, even if God did make me a prophet, I don't use titles like that. So I don't even live like that. But the person in particularly called me a false prophet. Now, this person has led a strong campaign on bashing, 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 doing, instead of saying, how do we all use this as a collective and see, because we all come from these backgrounds. Not just that person, I've came from them. Listen, I'm up out of Dallas, Texas, baby. I have came across, they got the most famous people run through there from the 80s, the 90s, and on up and back in the day. And we have seen what you call all kind of call girls. We've seen all kind of things. I've even been in the mix myself, not as a call girl, but I've been in the mix where we've been around grown men and we know what be going on. You understand what I'm saying? And I know the difference between consensual and unconsensual. Do you understand what I'm saying? And a lot of stuff, I'm telling you, is consensual. It don't mean that you want people beating you. It don't mean that you want people like harming you. But a lot of stuff is consensual, whether people know it or not. I'm not saying all things are. So with all the rest of the stories out there, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. I'm not negating nobody's story. I know what it's like to be approached by a pastor and a whole city allow me and act like that pastor never tried to approach me as a young girl and I was just lied on. So the reason why I take everybody's stories into account, because what you fail to realize is that life varies. It's not just a one-sided story. It varies. You know, listen, y'all, this person may have done some stuff. They may have hit some people. They may have slapped some folks. They may have punked some folks. They may have stole some lyrics. But some things, you understand what I'm saying, may not be according to how everyone is saying it. Do you understand that? And that's why sometimes you got to be careful because there are really a lot of things out there that are consensual. I know. I grew up in the game. I grew up in a game, not the famous game, but the backdoor game. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of things are consensual. People are not being made to do stuff. Some things are consensual. By the way, I was called a fake prophet by this person. And according to this person, they had it all laid down, prophesying how this person was just blah, 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 blah. And again, as you can see how these charges have came out. So again, I just want to let people know I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. But the reason why I speak the way I do, I'm not taking up for now side. I am the one who actually said on my video, and then people started saying it. Go look at it. Go look at it. Go look at my video. Go look at the dates, y'all. And then everybody started saying it. I am the one who said Hugh Hefner done crazy stuff. He did the same exact thing. Like he was doing exactly what Diddy was doing. And he was even known to be trafficking drugs through black people, doing it with Colombians, bringing it over to the penthouse. Like, come on, y'all. I'm the one who said it. I said the only reason why he was never charged, because number one, he stayed out of politics. Diddy got over there trying to think he was gonna do politics. It's like, no, dude, you, who you think you is? So Diddy started dipping into stuff. They knew he was living how he was living, so they was like, okay, so you're gonna sue the alcohol company, and then you're gonna have the nerves to come up here and think you're gonna be political and try to act like you're gonna make a movement, and then you out here living like you living. The truth is, Hugh Hefner and Diddy was living no different. The reason why Hugh Hefner didn't necessarily get in trouble is because he was filed as a business. He was known as the bunny, whatever you called him, playboy. It was filed as Inc. a business. And number two, he always had a covering. You understand what I'm saying? So, and I pointed out these things on my video. That's when you started seeing people say, oh, UFO was no different, you know. But that's what people do to you. They call you fake and then they try to debunk you and then they copy what you say. You understand? So, to the person who called me a fake prophet, I have nothing against you. You are the same person that when people threw you in jail and they was calling you mentally ill and they was calling you crazy, because I've been there, I was taking up for you. I was vouching for you. I was literally taking up for you. And for some reason, you didn't even know me like that because I didn't know you. I'm just out there running for you, taking up for you. And for some reason, you wanted to do a little witchcraft and project your spirit and try to knock me and dog me out so that you could get a prize from those up high. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the kind of stuff that happens, especially amongst Black people, when we don't allow all voices to come to the table and everybody wants to be the superstar and everybody wants to knock you down. Again, for all that prophesying, those cases have been dropped. You guys have a great day, right? I don't care whether you agree it's right or wrong. That's not the issue. The issue is that sometimes we need to hold back and we need to see things before we jump into things. I have to teach myself that, and hopefully we all learn that. We know that any type of perversion, no matter what you're doing on a small level or little level, hell, how I was living. When you sucking coochies, you living perverted. When you sucking digglings, you living perverted. When you doing a lot of stuff, you living perverted. But it's easy to take a stone and to just like go crazy, right? I even mentioned in these videos about R. Kelly, Diddy, all these things that a lot of times people don't even understand. Like, you're given these titles, you're made the sex symbol, you're branded that way, and then all you doing is selling sex. And then when you fall with sex, the world is ready to penalize you. How many know that I was the only one when people was talking about R. Kelly like a dog? I said, wait a minute now, wait a minute now. I grew up with that song. I grew up with that song. I remember that song. I remember that song in the 90s. I remember that clear as day because we were all at the club jamming on it. And I was young and we were sneaking in the club. Yes, sneaking in the club, y'all. Using IDs. I'm very honest with my life. Using grown people IDs, family members IDs, sneaking in the club. And them people was like, you know, your butt ain't no 40 years old. I bet not catch you with alcohol. Get over there in that corner. Don't you put on no band. Don't you do nothing. I bet not catch you with no alcohol. I catch you with alcohol. We throwing you out. But they were like our babysitters. They knew what we were doing. The whole world knew what was going on. But age ain't nothing but a number. Going down ain't nothing but a thing. You gonna act like you didn't know what that was? It was played on BET, MTV. It was played on radio stations. So everybody was condoning it. But when it come time to get penalized, everybody be like, ooh, 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 you know. And everybody knew what that meant. Them old cats was running around in them Cadillacs back in the day and them Regals back in the day. Young girls with their little booty shorts on, you know. You know. So people try to act stupid and crazy, but we don't fix problems by throwing stones. We fix problems by saying, hey, this is embedded in our culture. They were raised like that. We went through that. A lot of people went through that. How do we take these and make it better? How do we say, okay, yeah, R. Kelly was doing what he was doing, but at the same time, everybody else was too. And it's embedded in our culture. So instead of throwing a stone, how do we look and say, okay, how did an American system even get away with playing that on the radio? How did they even get away with playing that in MTV, BET? We all know what it meant. Look, we was 14, 15 years old, y'all. I knew what that song meant. Everybody was popping that song. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was the beating songs in cars everywhere you went. So, and everybody knew about Aaliyah and R. Kelly. We even knew then. So, but it was embedded in the culture. Young girls was messing with older guys all the time. Everybody saw it. Big mamas and them saw it in the neighborhood. They wouldn't call the police. They'd be like, girl, that nigga know. You know how people talk, girl, that nigga don't know. He know he ain't no good up there cheating on his wife over there with that little young girl. But nobody ever called the police. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. You know I'm telling the truth. And this is not just a Black culture thing. This is a white culture thing. They just do theirs the way they do theirs. It's a Hispanic culture thing. They do theirs the way they do theirs. But my point is that when you look at people and they feel that they want to be the superstar, they want to be this, and they're knocking you, and then all they prophecies kind of like fall to the ground. It's like, whatever, y'all. You understand what I'm saying? So at the point that I look at things, I say, hey, whether you want somebody to go down or not go down, the truth is you was doing dirty sex yourself. I've done dirty sex myself. A lot of people have done dirty sex, no matter who people are. And how do we heal? Because evidently it started somewhere. And how do we get better as a people? When I say dirty sex, I just mean you could have been doing anything. You could have been doing perverted sex, nasty sex, cheating on your husband, cheating on your wife. It could be anything. It's all perverted, right? And my thing is this: how do we get better? How do we heal? That's what we supposed to be doing. But people love to try to harm you and tear you down. But you guys have a beautiful one. And to the people out there who's been talking like your Alley Carters and all that kind of stuff, baby, I would never knock you. I don't know your story. I don't know your story. I would never knock you and tear you down. That's not my job. My job is to say, hey, this society is full of it. And how do each person heal? Not just the one who does it, but the one who get done to. And then the ones who become the perpetrators because it was done to them. Like, we got to stop the cycle. And we don't stop the cycle by talking about she a fake prophet and we don't like her. Well, that's your business, baby. I do what I do because God blessed me to do what I do. Just do what you do and then quit hating on me, because I wasn't hating on you. When they threw you in jail and everybody was calling you mentally ill and crazy and saying you was smoking crack, I was taking up for you, literally out here taking up for you. And then that's what people do to you, right? But you guys have a blessed day. And that's what I mean by us not jumping too soon. And to realize that if we're going to help, we got to figure out how to help. And there's a better way to help than the way that we're always doing it. You understand what I'm saying? So, guys, have a blessed one.